and why everybody's voting. Much thanks to Finance, Vice Chair Williams for moving. I know we're going to move and receive and file a bunch of things today to try to get start at 3:45, hopefully with Mr. Christensen, so that we can get you home before dinner instead of in the past where we stay around for much longer. As we wait for that vote total going, we're going to, I'll just get ahead of myself here a little bit. For informational items, we are just going to receive and file a majority of them. And then we will, for standing committees, just receive and file unless you have questions on that. But we do have two things which should put us about time-wise, and then one resolution. But uh, you did get some information from Mr. Allen and his department, uh, about 5 minutes of conversation that he'd like to have there. So being that we're still at 3:30, I think we have the time. I'll let him go through that. And if it's not enough time and we need to digest more of it next month, we can do that as well. So do we have the, looks like the minutes pass with all ayes. So next up is DEI Office Quarterly Update. Mr. Allen, Dr. Allen.
Testing. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Executive Committee, to be here with you all as we provide our quarterly update for our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion unit. In your agenda packet, you all had several attachments, so I'll be just doing a high-level overview of those. And if you have any follow-up questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out. For our listening audience, to those in the room, just a friendly reminder, our work is guided in alignment with the Peoria County government's strategic plan under the priority of workforce and organizational development. We focus on four pillars: talent attraction and retention, professional training and development, minority and women-owned business procurement, and external stakeholder engagement. As I go through each pillar, I'll talk about what we're doing underneath those. And again, you have those attachments in your packet to reference. When we talk about pillar one, what we've been doing this past quarter under talent attraction and retention, you may recall last year in the operations committee, we did a year over year workforce report. We utilized the most recent Peoria County Census data as our North Star. And our goal is to be an organization that reflects the Peoria County Census. And so that's what we utilize and we track against. I appreciate our human resources, diversity, equity, inclusion generalist, Brittany Graves, who works in collaboration with our human resources department to get those numbers to help us generate those reports. So year over year, attachment one demonstrates where our workforce currently is. And I just want to touch base on some things very high level. We've seen a increase in our Hispanic Latino representation of our workforce from 5% to almost 7% there. And one of the biggest things that I want to strike is our 18 to 24-year-olds has gone up 4 to 5% right now too. So that signifies that our organization is getting a little younger. Still, as far as age, our biggest age is 45 or 35 to 54. And we have seen a slight decrease in our number of employees that are 65 and up, signifying some slight, probably some retirement happening there. So we are staying steady currently in majority of our demographics, but we've seen again some increase, and we're getting a little younger, and we're seeing some people transition out of the organization. Under professional development and training, we posted a series of opportunities for our internal teammates, including our Black History Month Lunch and Learn on behalf of our Belonging and Inclusion calendar. We hosted that at the Human and Health Services campus, and we had Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion from Illinois Central College was our keynote speaker. We had 28 employees that attended that Lunch and Learn, and we had some pretty good survey results from there. We had to cancel our Women's History Lunch and Learn. Our keynote speaker, end up becoming a grandma. And so we end up having to cancel that. And we'll bring that back next year. And then last week, we had a lunch and learn again in collaboration with our human resources department. And it was entitled Don't Leave Benefits on the Table. And we appreciate Christine and Angela and Amanda and our human resources team collaborating with us to let us, our employees, know about the respective benefits that they're offered. And we had 20 employees attend that. Forecasted trainings, we have two opportunities coming up in collaboration with Illinois Central College, their corporate and communication department. And so they will be doing two diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings on May 15th and May 22nd. We'll be in the community room of the Health and Human Services Department. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do this all-staff training opportunity is based off of the most recent all-staff survey results. There was an overwhelming need for more training opportunities. And so we're collaborating with Illinois Central College, and we look forward to those two opportunities. I sent information out to our management council listserv yesterday, and the different supervisors, we will be looking at their departments, and hopefully they'll be able to make sure they have sufficient coverage in their departments and allow individuals to attend those different training opportunities. Moving on to Pillar 3, Minority Women-Owned Business Procurement, I want to talk about what we've been doing in our tracking on the Courtyard Plaza project. To provide context, we brought our workforce tracking in-house, and so myself and Brittany Graves have been working on that, and we appreciate the collaboration with Matt Belonga now, who is running point on this at Core Construction, and also our assistant county administrator, Kyle Smith. And in your packet, you see the different pay apps that have been submitted. We started off in the hole, and so I appreciate us being able to have a meeting, and we did a course correction, and through communication, intentionality, and collaboration, we've seen a significant increase in our minority participation on the Courtyard project. You may recall you all adopted a community workforce agreement with goals of 12% minority participation on that project, along with 3% female participation on that project. We have had some challenges with our female participation on the project, but currently our minority workforce participation on that project is 25% as of the most recent pay app as of February of 2026. So we are doing very well on the Courtyard project. Again, I appreciate the collaboration and the communication and the intentionality working with the different subcontractors, working with Matt Belonga. And again, I really appreciate Assistant County Administrator Kyle Smith and our County Administrator Scott Sorrell for their continued support to ensure that we meet those goals. So we just had another meeting this past month I shared those results with our subcontractors and appreciated them for their intentionality, and we look to finish strong as we head into the tail end of that project. And then going on to Pillar 4, looking at our external stakeholder engagement, one thing that I'm very excited about, and you all had this attachment 4 in your packet there, is the relaunch of the Peoria Area Diversity and Employment Action Team, also known as PDEEP. And this is an intentional effort that will include various community partners and governmental organizations and organized labor with the goal of diversifying and growing our pipeline in organized labor. You know, one thing that I've learned, tracking the workforce, whether it was working with the Health and Human Services building or the Courtyard project, is that we have access to these opportunities, but we don't quite have the pipeline. And so PDEEP will be that intentional effort to help us grow our pipeline. So I appreciate the intentionality and leadership of our board chairman, Jimmy Dillon, and the rest of the leadership of the West Central Illinois Building and Construction Trades. We'll be having our first kickoff meeting May 20th at the Health and Human Services building, and that'll be featuring, again, different community partners to help us launch that initiative. So we look forward to, again, helping increase our pipeline into organized labor. Some other community support and sponsorship opportunities. We supported the Peoria Public Schools Foundation 365 breakfast. We had a table at the Dr. Martin Luther King annual luncheon. I provided an update on our diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives to Laureen King on 106.3 WPNV. And then I also recently facilitated an inclusive leadership training for participants in the Pekin Area Chamber of Commerce Community Leadership Program. So again, just extending our diversity and inclusion efforts both internally but also regionally as well. So I believe that we have had a busy Q1. We look forward to the rest of the year, and at this time, I'll take any questions, comments, concerns that you all may have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Member Blair.
Thank you for putting this together. One thing, and you said this in the narrative, but I don't see numbers associated with it. As we look at gender and minority diversity in the workplace, it would be nice to be able to see kind of buckets of representation. So you talked about in leadership roles, but also in terms of comparing like women and men in terms of pay rates, in terms of union versus non-union. That should be information that you can have access to. Just so we know, as an example, if we may have roughly the same in terms of women and men in our gender diversity, which is great, but are women in lower paid positions, et cetera, more non-union positions. I just want to see if that kind of information, perhaps the next time you do this, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Member Blair. Member Phelan.
My only comment, this seems minute, but maybe it's an industry standard. It's not something I know, but when I look at the first slide and it says minorities versus whites, it sounds like a WWE match. And I understand the intention that we're trying to make a comparison. I understand what versus mean, but I would just maybe make the recommendation that we could clean up that language in a way that someone looking at it from the outside understands that we're truly trying to ensure that we have the best workforce out there, and we're doing it in a way that's equal and equitable.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can take that feedback.
Other questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Allen. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. Peoria County Comprehensive Plan update.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll make this brief because we did have a nice presentation to the Land Use Committee yesterday. But yesterday was phase 2 kickoff for our public outreach as part of our comprehensive plan. So we had a meeting, unfortunately not very well attended due to the weather, at the Peoria Public Library North Branch. It is the first of 10 open houses we'll be having, and then we'll have some pop-up events. You'll notice there was some poster boards in the hallway that kind of illustrate the process that we've gone through thus far and where we're going. There are some postcards that we invite you to take, and then there's a survey with a QR code that we also invite you to take. Right now, we're just looking for comments and feedback on our draft content that's been produced by Sarah Kelly with Planning Next, who just has a few very brief slides to talk about the process moving forward.
Great. Thank you all. I just wanted to share a little bit about where we are in the process, and I'm trying to, it's off again. Yep, I did that yesterday too. So we're really excited to be at this moment in time. There's been a lot of great work that's gone into the planning process so far by staff, by our planning commission, and by the public. So we are entering, as Andrew said, this second phase of our public engagement. And this is really the moment when we are turning the corner from listening and absorbing as much as we can to trying to put some ideas out there that we really want people to react to. So we are hoping that all of you might go online or take a look at what's outside here today or come to one of our events. And please, please, please let us know your thoughts. Nothing is set in stone. We're just starting to get some things together that we think are heading in the right direction, but we sure know are going to need to be refined in some ways. So our first round of a public engagement, we were really out in the community as much as possible. This is an image from the bicentennial event. We were asking people big picture questions about the future. What are they concerned about? What are they optimistic about? Where do they see the greatest opportunities in the county? And we got some great participation and a lot of enthusiasm for what we were doing. We got more focused as we moved into February, where we had some focus groups that were really centered on these key topics, and we had folks around some maps, and we invited people that had particular expertise on these topics, and had some really, really dynamic discussions about where the plan is heading. And now, in this second round of engagement, we will be out over the course of May and June in 10 different locations, 10 to 12 actually, different locations around the county, making sure we're getting out, bringing these materials, inviting people, building momentum and enthusiasm for what we're doing, and definitely getting people's thoughts. So that will be happening over the next 2 months. And then we're also going to have the display boards up in some locations like the public libraries where people can comment. And then finally online, if you go to PeoriaCounty200plus.org or .com, you will be able to see the survey. All the same materials that are out here are available on the website. And there's even an interactive map where if you have a particular location in the county where you want to give a comment, you can do that on that map. It should be pretty easy to use. Today is just to ask you to help us spread the word, ask you to let us know what's on your minds. If you see anything that you think needs to be changed or anything that you think is missing, now is the time to let us know. So we're really excited about where we are. We're hoping through a word of mouth, especially if all of you can, ask 5 people to participate, that would really help to bolster our engagement and make sure we're going to finish really strong with this plan. So thank you so much for your time, and really grateful for the opportunity to work with the county and with all of you.
Questions? Thank you. Welcome to Peoria, and Andrew, fantastic as always. Keep up the good work. Okay, so next that would bring us to resolutions, membership commitment to the Peoria Convention and Visitors Bureau. Is there a motion to put this on the floor? Member Blair, Member Ruland. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure, happy to do that, Mr. Chairman. So last month, JD Delfonso, who's the CEO of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, gave his annual update. If you recall from that update, the investment that the county has made in the Convention and Visitors Bureau, along with the money they receive from the state of Illinois as the official tourism agency for the region, and various hotel, restaurant, and amusement sales taxes that they receive from municipal governments, funds their activities. They've seen those investments pay off with an uptick, a marketable uptick in tourism visits, in impressions from their social media posts, and improved convention business as well at the Civic Center and the other convention sites that we have here in the Central Business District. That agreement that we had with the Bureau was a 3-year agreement at $25,000 per year, subject to annual appropriation, and the third and final year of that first agreement was last year. So today we're recommending a new 3-year agreement with the exact same terms and scope of work as the first one. So 3-year agreement at $25,000 per year, subject to your annual appropriation and subject to annual reporting to this committee.
4 questions. So, Member Searle, or Administrator Searle, can you elaborate on the funding source? I think that's an important. So this is CJA dollars that were dedicated after Edwards closing, and how much longer does that funding have left on it?
So we have at minimum, at minimum of 2, but more likely 3 or 4, maybe even longer than that, of Climate and Equity Jobs Act, or CJA, funding available. Those dollars are accounted for in the general fund, but they have some broad but very specific ways in which we can use those dollars. Economic development and tourism. Tourism specifically is an eligible, specifically called out eligible use in our CJA grant with the state of Illinois. So we see this as a good use of those dollars.
Questions? Okay, seeing none, please cast your vote. Motion pass, all ayes. So standing committees, we are going to receive and file those. We're pretty close to 3:45 here.
Gee, Mr. Chairman, our committee only had two resolutions this time.
We'll do public, thank you, Chairman Salzer. We'll do public comments. Seeing none, miscellaneous. Member Duncan.
I'd like to take this opportunity to wish Jennifer a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Member Allison. We'll try to get you home early so you can go out.
Mr. Chairman, all 9 of our committee members are present with this committee.
Very good. So see, they already know. Ask Coach Salzer after the meeting if you have any questions. All right, is there a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel? Member Williams, Member Blair. Please cast your vote.